Hi there, guys. Thanks for tuning into my latest video on my YouTube channel, News, Weather, and Entertainment channel, calling it Ajax's News, Weather, and Entertainment. You can find me here, and I'm going to update you guys on what's going on with the latest on the Luigi Mangione case, which is really causing all kinds of pandemonium off the country, across the country, and the alleged shooting. He allegedly killed the CEO Brian Thompson last December. This is the headline I'm putting. The Mangione case, a lot doesn't add up. There's a lot of twists and turns that are happening in this case. That's a photo of him when he was marching with the police, and also Mayor Eric Adams is back there around the time that I think he was arraigned. It was very kind of a theatrical thing, and he was marching across towards to get arraigned. Here is a headline from people.com. This is just from the other day, yesterday. Mangione had been sick for a couple days. He was back in court. He looks pretty healthy there. It says Mangione pumps fist in court before cop says ammunition was found in part of wet pair of wet underwear. That's the latest twist coming from their side, that they found a gun inside a pair of wet underwear. Apparently, they're trying to make the case that he was trying to silence the gun when he allegedly committed the murder. And there's some more pictures there. That's his lawyer. He has these very high profile lawyers that are involved in this case. He was not before this someone really famous. He had posted a lot of things on the internet about rising healthcare costs. He had some major health issues himself, but you can see him right there in New York City. And here is a look at that video again. Now, this was the video of the alleged shooting that happened that day. And let me show you here. This is him. This is Brian Thompson walking this way. This is allegedly Luigi Mangione. You can see someone holding some kind of a weapon and wearing a hoodie, and boom, he shoots him in the back of the head. And then what happened? Apparently, allegedly, he went to McDonald's. He fled. They say he went to McDonald's somewhere in Pennsylvania, and he was discovered there. So, it's going back and forth. There's certainly, I think, some circumstantial evidence that he was part of the crime. I mean, but this kid, from what we know, was a pretty normal kid. He came from a pretty affluent background from Maryland, I believe, or he went to school there. Um, so there's no indication that he was a criminal before this happened. So apparently, something drove him, if he did do the murder, to do this, and then go to jail, have a death penalty afterwards. So we're still learning a lot more about this. There's another post from uh, the New York Post, also mentioning the bullets wrapped in wet underwear. So and here's another one from another website. Mangione's eyebrows gave him away. This is from a woman who turned him in at the McDonald's, discovered him there. Oh, there's his eyebrows. This gotta be him. He goes, apparently it was all in the news, and that they found him there. It says the court listens to McDonald's manager 911 call made on the night of the alleged murder, and he was arrested after a 5-day manhunt at McDonald's. Another twist of this story is that the defense is trying to make the case that the police did not read him his rights, his Miranda rights, which are mandated by the Constitution. Now, not in every single case. They don't have to read Miranda rights. They say if it's if there's some kind of serious, a threat. Okay, if they're trying to arrest a suspect who's a threat, if he's violent, they may not have to read his Miranda rights. But that is something that they're trying to make the case. Another twist: Luigi Mangione's grandma. His grandma left the family $30 million in her will, but the alleged assassin Mangione may never see a penny. And the reason is, you scroll down here. They said she left her family at least 30 million in her will, but she specified in the will that anyone who was charged, indicted, convicted of, or pleads guilty to a felony would be cut out. How do you like them apples? So again, another twist. So apparently he did this, according to the prosecution, on some kind of impulse, it would seem like, or maybe some premeditation. But surely he had to have in his head that he would be cut out. of his grandmother's will if he were caught in such a situation. There's some pictures of him here again when he was being brought in. And then there is again him here. You can't really tell that it's him because he's wearing a hoodie. So there is his grandmother there. So this really what this is all about. And of course, you guys have heard that Mangione has a whole smorgasbord of supporters. Even though he's an alleged killer, they are people that are viewing him as a hero. I hope because they think he's innocent. This is a story here from a gentleman named Sam Beard, a spokesperson for December 4th Legal Committee. He defended the creation and existence of a fundraiser, which he's involved with, to assist the costs associated with the legal defense of Mangione. And he says, quoting, Luigi Mangione is a hero and everybody knows it. A hero. An alleged killer is a hero. He told News Nation's Banfield on Wednesday. He says, Brian Thompson's killing seems to me, without a doubt, to be, to the average American, the most celebrated since that of Osama bin Laden, if you can believe that. The fundraiser has raised $1.3 million on Give, Send, Go, and is contributing, and he's contributing to legal fees for Mangione, who will be back in court. So this story really has just absolutely blown up. It's started a debate about the incredible healthcare crisis. Some people will say the incredible cost of healthcare in America. That people are going into massive debt when they have healthcare issues in this country. You see some of the pictures here, some of the posters people are waving around. And I think that's in New York. I think it's happening across the country too. New York government bought by billionaires, this placard says. So people are making the case that the rich are running the healthcare system and everybody is getting screwed essentially. And no one's doing anything about it. Free Luigi. Now, I'd like to know why some of these folks think he can be freed. Certainly, I hope they don't think because if he actually killed him that he's a hero. I mean, that's pretty outrageous. I'll say that there is circumstantial evidence here for him. You saw the gun and the underwear and all of this. But for now, it's just circumstantial. And we haven't actually heard anything from him as far as what his defense actually is. What are all these things that are seem to be kind of pointing to him to being the killer? Here's some more signs. You can see not guilty. Look at the size of the sign here. Another one says no more death by deductible. Again, feeding into the fact that the healthcare system in America is in many ways broken. Counterproductive, someone says, but not criminal. Free Luigi. So this is the sentiments going on all across the country, especially a lot of women are really behind him, but it's not just women. All kinds of people are waking up to the fact that the healthcare system is in really bad shape in America, and somehow they see him as a hero, even though he's the alleged killer. Uh, well, this is Pam Bondi. She is the Attorney General of the United States. Very powerful position, very high level. She said a few months ago that she told prosecutors in the case to seek the death penalty for the CEO murder. Pam Bondi is a very controversial figure, and she speaks her mind, but she's rather an abrasive person. Many people have said, but she got involved. Now I don't know how frequent it is or common it is for a attorney general to get involved in these kinds of cases, but that was what she said back earlier in 2025. Haven't heard much from her yet since then. And there is Brian Thompson, person who was gunned down. Another thing about him in this case is that we have not heard a lot from the victims' families. Now, there have been some articles, some quotes, but where are the victims' families? Why are they not outside these courtrooms, outside holding press conferences and demanding that Mangione be convicted of the murder of their family member? We have heard next to nothing from them. So that is another very odd thing about this case as well. And of course, there's going to be more twists and turns, but the bottom line is also that the cost of healthcare in the United States, we have the highest healthcare administrative costs per capita of any of these developed countries here. Way more than 3 times more than Germany. Okay, more than 10 times more than Sweden or England, the UK, and Japan. Okay, It is a major crisis. So people are waking up to this fact that something needs to be done. There's a lot of greed going on in our country, and healthcare is part of it. So the question is this is this kid guilty or not? And what really is going on? If you ask me, we're going to see more of what we hear about in the coming weeks or months. Certainly, the evidence they have, some of it seems fairly strong, but it's hard to really see a motive for this case when you have somebody who is not from a criminal background. Okay, he doesn't have a record at all. He was on the internet. He said all kinds of things. But here's another story here: the life expectancy. This is related to this. The life expectancy in the U.S. has flatlined in the last decade or so. It's about 78, 79 years old, unlike other developed countries and other parts of the world where the life expectancy is going up quickly. Japan, Switzerland, Italy, and Portugal, it's approaching the late 80s now, whereas the US, it is flatlining or could even conceivably drop. So this story is going to continue to be in the headlines. And as far as what's really going to happen, I don't know. They have to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. And if not him, who did the murder? Was this some kind of elaborate hoax that's going on? All of those are conceivably possible. So I'll be updating more on this story and others on my YouTube channel. Find me here, click subscribe, and I'll post all kinds of stories. And you can message me as well if you want to hear any kind of stories that I should talk about. So have a great week, everybody, and happy holidays. Merry Christmas.